Hello, everyone. If you're seeing this sign, you've made it to the end of an excellent day 2 of GitHub Universe. We're going to go through all the must-see and can't-miss moments from today, and don't you worry, I'll have you prepped and ready to go for all the big moments we have in store for you tomorrow. Don't touch that dial, or maybe keyboard. This is the GitHub Universe Highlight Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GitHub Universe Highlight Show. I'm your host, Kyle Daigle. We have a whole 15 minutes together, and I'm going to share the best moments of the day and help guide you through the 17 different talks we had. And hopefully, you'll find a few things that will help out your day-to-day developer workflow. So grab a cup of water, cold brew, or fresh squeezed kale juice, and let's dive right in. This morning, GitHub COO Erica Brescia kicked off the conference by talking about the importance of developer experience and how it's at the heart of everything that we do. We think that all developers deserve a great experience, whether you're an open source developer using GitHub.com or a Fortune 500 company building your application using GitHub Enterprise. An easy to use and powerful developer toolchain is critical to being productive and keeping you in the flow every day. And that's why focusing on high-performing teams is so important.
The 2019 Dora report found that elite and high-performing DevOps teams are automating significantly more work than low-performing teams. In fact, these elite teams are delivering 208 times more frequent code deployments than those who aren't. Their lead time from commit to deploy is 106 times faster, and they recover from incidents over 2,600 times more quickly.
Wow. And with the release of GitHub Enterprise Server 3.0, GitHub is bringing so many powerful features to developers in the enterprise, like code scanning, packages, and actions. And with these features, and in particular with GitHub Actions, companies and teams are seeing huge improvements to their workflows and bringing code to production faster than ever.
Across all open source repositories, repos that use actions on pull requests see PRs merge 1.2 times faster, and the number of merged PRs increased by 1.3x. That's 34% more pull requests merged. This is huge in terms of improving developer velocity, and this scales exponentially with your team. According to 3M, building with GitHub allowed them to go from 400 deployments in 60 days to 6,000 deployments. That's a 15 times increase in ships.
And yesterday, we spoke about the importance of considering security as a feature and a key part of your development workflow. Erica shared some additional information about CodeQL, a powerful tool that lets you query your code to find vulnerabilities.
Take Postmates, for example, who leverage CodeQL's code scanning to do what literally no other developer-focused security tooling can do. GitHub's security features meet developers where they are, in the source code.
CodeQL is so powerful. If you haven't given it a look yet, I promise you, you really haven't used anything like this before. Finally, we know that we're the home of software developers around the world. GitHub is where the world builds software. So Erica took the chance to update us on just how big GitHub has become.
GitHub is where the world builds software. Over 50 million developers trust GitHub to collaborate, test, build, and deploy code, including over 70% of the Fortune 50. In fact, in the last year, over 60 million new repos were added and over 1.9 billion contributions were made. Those are some seriously big numbers.
Awesome. It's been so cool seeing GitHub grow over the past 7 years that I've been here, and that's because of all of you. Between yesterday's keynote with Nat and today's featured session with Erica, we've shown how GitHub is powering the developer workflows that are required to build great, secure software as part of a team. You can check out the entire session from Erica as a replay at githubuniverse.com tomorrow. Talking about those 50 million developers, let's hear what you thought about today's talks. There were a lot of reactions to go through. If you want to be featured and join the conversation, all you need to do is use the GitHub Universe hashtag wherever you're having that conversation. Okay, let's dive in. Sarah is somehow watching all 4 channels at once, really just letting all the GitHub content wash over you at once. I'm extremely impressed that you can catch all that at the same time. Maybe I could get you to join us on working on the show and watching all those streams. Now, here's Lynn heaping praise on Angie's talk about visual testing. I absolutely love this talk and the video explanation of how easy it is to miss visual mistakes. We'll be talking a lot more about this talk in a bit. And finally, here is Codefinity, who's really enjoying the code performances that have been happening in the Play channel and kicking off each and every day of GitHub Universe. I'm always amazed at how quickly they can edit their code, and I'm kind of super interested to see what a bug sounds like. Share what you're thinking. What was your favorite part of GitHub Universe? Use the GitHub Universe hashtag. I'd love to feature you in tomorrow's show. Alongside our featured session, we had 16 different talks and sessions, all focused on improving your software development practices and making it easier to build complete DevOps workflows. Kicking off today was that really cool talk by Angie Jones, where she showed how you can actually get valuable visual tests on every pull request without getting caught up in the pixel by pixel comparisons.
Would that test catch this? No. Look at this test. It's green. I love green like the next person, but I want my red when it means something, you know? So this test has passed, even though with a single line of CSS, I literally flipped this application on its head. Again, this is why we need the visual testing.
Would you have caught all the visual bugs without the better test? Go catch her entire talk as a replay at githubuniverse.com. Our very own Brian Douglas, or B. Dougie, who is pulling double duty as a US host and a speaker this year, gave a talk about how you can use GitHub Actions to automate every aspect of your day. Here he is telling us about his favorite action.
My favorite action, I was really stoked when I found out about the Lighthouse action. Like being able to find out, so whenever I have a staging deployment on Netlify, I'm able to see all my stats for just that staging deployment. So previously I had to deploy to production, and then once it's deployed in production, I can start doing some regressions and testing and stuff like that, which is not a good practice. Like definitely test that in staging and QA that. But actually applying that directly to PR was just mind-blowing.
Brian did a great job covering some of the powerful and somewhat hidden features of GitHub Actions. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the sports game of basketball, something I assure you, I am an expert on. Check out the full talk at the replay at githubuniverse.com, which is what I'll be doing after this show. Have you ever been frustrated by how long your CI build takes, or have you wanted to get on top of that mountain of technical debt? Today, we've got a masterclass from GitHub's very own Liz, KK, and Keith on how to start toppling that tower of technical debt and focus a bit more on how to make developers effective inside your company. And we ended up with some big productivity wins.
We reduced our CI time to 13 minutes, making our CI workflow 3 times faster. And then as an added bonus, we reduced our compute costs down by 1/4.
You can learn more about this tech debt project by following along on the GitHub engineering blog by going to github.blog and click on engineering. All right, we all have secrets. Hopefully you're keeping your secrets to yourself, only telling your besties, and maybe most importantly, you're keeping your secrets safe in your production workflows. Rosemary from HashiCorp told us about the 6 steps of dealing with leaked secrets and how secret managers prevent us from making these mistakes at all.
Well, a secrets manager actually takes away a couple of steps. The first thing is regret. You might push a password and regret that you pushed it in the first place, but you actually get the simplification of the revocation and the rotation of secrets with the secrets manager. So if you need to change the secret, it's no big deal.
Between GitHub code scanning and a tool like HashiCorp Vault, I really feel like I'm being protected from myself at this point. Moving on, an important part of any software project is planning. And at GitHub, we use GitHub to do just that. Lauren Brose shared how, even as product manager on the planning and tracking team, well, she has more than a few issues with issues.
Now, I have this sticker on my laptop. It says all my issues are on GitHub. And I think that's the core of capturing ideas.
If you're curious about how GitHub uses issues to build our own product, you can catch Lauren's epic talk as a replay. GitHub Actions is already the #1 CI/CD platform on GitHub, but that doesn't mean that we're done making it the best tool for you to test, build, and deploy your code. Chris Patterson introduced a number of new features to help turn you into an Actions power user and prepare you to deploy more code than ever before.
We wanted to give you a much better way to visually track how your workflows are progressing.
Just got a taste there. Watch the full talk to see a demo of what's up next. Trust me, You won't regret it. Mostly, you're just going to wish that you already had it today. Phew. So we shared so much over the past few days between our keynote, our featured session this morning, over 30 talks. The folks from the GitHub Stars team were able to reach out and share some of their favorite moments with me. We'll be posting that on social, so you can catch that later. I absolutely loved hearing from the millions of developers who use GitHub every single day. We want to be the best developer tool in the world. So keep telling us what you like and what we can do better to make your workflow better than today, because the team here at GitHub loves hearing from our users. So with the featured session and the developer track and the enterprise channel and all of that out of the way, did you take some time to check out the university and play channels today? On the university channel, Michael and Lika talked about how get MongoDB, and you can get started with it right away in your application by taking part in the GitHub Student Developer Program. As long as you're a student, that is. Check out that talk and all the replays by going to githubuniverse.com. And of course, I hope you've been checking out the play track over the past 2 days. It has some of the most amazing beats, visuals, and experimental code that you'll find on the web. Trust me, Elaine and her team did all of the hard work for you. And if you don't believe me, check this out. Martin and Dana, 2 of the US stream hosts, were just losing their mind to this VR art in music by Michelle Brown. Don't miss out on any more of the play track. Check it out tomorrow. I guess bring your glow sticks and your goggles. So speaking of tomorrow, I wanted to bring one of the speakers that you'll be hearing from, my extremely talented coworker, who you happen to already meet in the keynote, Director of Software Engineering, Neha Batra. Hey, Neha, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kyle.
So we already saw you talking a bit about discussions during the keynote, and I know a lot of open source repos have actually already been using discussions in the private beta. What's different about what you're going to be showing tomorrow?
So tomorrow, what I'm going to be talking about are some of the newest features that we've enabled. So if you haven't seen it already, I'll be talking about things like customizing categories to best suit your community. I'll talk about how you can recognize your top contributors in discussions, and I'll talk about what you can do to spruce up your repository with options like spotlights. And finally, I'll talk about what your moderation options are within discussions. So that's some of the newer stuff that you might see.
Awesome. And I'm curious, what would you say to the open source maintainers and contributors out there who are already using discussions? Why should they tune into your talk?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one of the reasons why I think even people who have been using the private beta might want to check out this talk is that for every feature that I talk about, I'm going to be using examples of how different people in open source communities have embraced that, and I'll be showing those kind of side by side. So for example, if we talked about customizing categories, you might get to see some of the categories that different open source repositories have been using for their discussions. So you're going to see new features, you're going to see how to do them, and then simultaneously, side by side, examples from all the different repositories. So if you want to basically see those without having to go to a bunch of different ones on your own, this would be a great talk to check out.
Awesome. So Neha, a little birdie told me that today's your birthday, and I know we can't be together, so I got you a little something just so we can pretend that, this is how we would do it. And I got you this. I don't think I can send this through the camera, but there are some treats coming to your house in San Francisco a couple of minutes after we get off the call today. So happy birthday, Neha. Thank you for spending a little bit of it with me today.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so surprised.
There you go. You're the best. Thank you so much, Neha. We'll see you tomorrow. Everyone, be sure to check out Neha's talk about GitHub discussions and how you can use it to help build your community. That's at 10:30 a.m. Pacific on the developer channel. Neha's talk isn't the only one that you should be sure to check out. At 10:30 a.m. Pacific, GitHub's very own Nicole Forsgren will be sharing what enterprises can learn from global patterns and our State of the Octaverse report. At 11:15 a.m. Pacific, Hamza will be explaining machine learning concepts on the Play channel. I'm going to be tuning into that one. Don't tell anyone. And at 12:15 p.m. Pacific, tune in to hear more about GitHub and NPM and how GitHub hearts NPM. That'll be a don't miss. Thank you so much for joining me for today's GitHub Universe highlight show. I'd love to hear your highlights from today. Use the hashtag GitHub Universe. Feel free to mention me, Kyle Daigle, and you might end up in tomorrow's final wrap-up show. GitHub Universe will also kick off a rebroadcast with live hosts at 9:30 a.m. India Standard Time. So if you're in the Asia Pacific region, be sure to check that out. GitHub Universe kicks off its third and final day tomorrow with Kelsey Hightower of Kubernetes fame at 9 a.m. Pacific. Enjoy the rest of your evening, day, or morning. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. Pacific. So I'll see you then.